first met Mr. Banfield, what was your relationship to him?
It's professional. He was my boss.
And you said he was your boss.
Yeah.
What was your job?
I was their au pair.
And so you said you worked as an au pair. What does that mean?
Au pair is like a nanny position, but somebody comes from another country providing care for their kids, and in exchange they live with their family.
What was your life like with them?
They would use Christine's email accounts to create a fake profile to lure someone in who was into kinky violence. And they would get this guy to come into the house and fake Christine. Brendan would be the hero of the day. He would show up, a guy, his wife, pretending that it had been that guy.
And then he came here, and then we went inside. The guy, I don't know who it is, he was spanking her,
So I have been closely following the au pair trial, okay? You know, pretty much where the nanny was hired by the husband and they had a plot to take out the wife. Well, the trial is going on right now, and I'm going to give you a little bit of key things, okay, that I realize maybe some people are not talking about or saying. Maybe they don't even know. And the only reason why I know is because, hey, I was on the other side of that wall one time. So I'm going to explain to you some details that's being left out, and maybe what Brendan, the husband, could be playing chess this entire time from day one, even right now. Fugitive TV, stay tuned. Welcome to Fugitive TV. I am your host, Ray Marcel. We take a look at cases, missing people, unsolved mysteries. Right now, we're taking a look at a trial, but we take a look at them sometimes from a different perspective because I was once a fugitive on the run from the law myself, hence Fugitive TV. So what I try and do is I find these little loopholes or maybe these gray areas that other people don't see or not talking about or maybe just don't know about. Right now, what we're going to get into is the au pair situation, okay? So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the au pair trial that's going on. I'm going to break down a timeline for you quickly so that way you guys know, for you guys that don't know, I should say, I'll break down a timeline for you. But before I do that, the au pair, pretty much a au pair is a person that's hired from another country. So usually they come from a different country, and a family will hire them to either be nanny, cook, clean, live in a house, things like that. So they'll hire them, and then in return, they'll put up room and board and things, and they take care of the stuff in the house that maybe you and your other wife, or maybe even you live by yourself with kids that you can't take care of. I know a couple people that had au pairs and they were single. They just needed them to cook, clean, keep the house clean, just things like that or whatever, and watch the dogs. So you can hire them for different reasons, okay? Well, that's what an au pair is. I could possibly even be saying it wrong. I've never hired one myself. But this particular one, her name was Juliana. She came from Brazil, all right? And there's a trial going on right now because the husband had an affair with Juliana. So the husband's name is Brendan. The au pair's name is Juliana. So they had an affair behind Brendan's wife's back. Brendan's wife is named Christine.
What was your life like with them?
With the family,
Yeah, when you first got there, what was it like?
it was kind of a period for me to adapt to the family, to my job, to the country. But I was very welcome, I guess.
And what was Brendan like when you first came to live with the family and be their au pair?
We barely spoke. Like, my relationship was mostly with Christine and Valerie. Brendan and I barely spoke at all.
Okay. What was Christine like?
Christine was very friendly, very welcoming, very fair.
At some point, while you were working for the Banfield family, did your relationship with the defendant change?
Yes.
How did it change?
It became sexual, physical relationship.
And do you recall when the relationship changed?
It was August 2022.
And did you keep the relationship, this new relationship with the defendant, did you keep this a secret?
For my part, some of my friends, they knew because I told them, and I used to post on my Instagram. But for his part, yeah, it was a secret.
All right. So supposedly they had this affair behind Christine's back. And they had this whole plan arranged to make it look like Christine, well, they make it look like they thought Christine would be getting taken advantage of by another individual that Christine met on a website called Fetcom. Okay. It's called fetish.com. Now I know about FetCom because I'm here in Florida, and every year they have the FetCom convention every year. So FetCom is pretty much your like wildest fetish dreams. It could be, and I shouldn't have to explain what fetishes are, right? So it could be anything from dominatrix to all kind of stuff going on. Furry animals. I mean, not as an actual furry animals, but people dressing up as an animal thinking they're a furry animal. So there's all kind of fetishes that go on with FetCom.
Yeah, he said he wasn't going to hire anybody because that is something that throughout investigation can be discovered easily. And that he had heard of a website called FetLife. He's never done anything on the website, but he heard about it, and that's what he was going
to create a fake profile to lure someone in, and they would get this guy to come into the house and fake Christine. Brendan would be the hero of the day. He would.
Well, they made up a fake profile, okay? This is allegedly. Prosecution is saying that the up pair, who was Juliana, and Brendan made up a fake profile, all right, of Christine on Fetcom or FetLife.com. And why they made up this fake profile, excuse me, they contacted this guy named Joseph. And they were speaking to Joseph. Now, prosecutors, it's in trial right now. So right now they're discussing who could have been the one talking to Joseph, things of that nature. Because right now we technically really don't know who exactly was talking to Joseph, let's say the whole entire time. Now, there is a phone call, though, where Joseph did talk with somebody who was the up hair. I think it was a 40-minute phone call. But as far as texting or messaging, far as my phone, as far as texting or messaging on the app, Fetcom itself, that's what they're trying to talk. That's what they're talking about right now in trial. Well, Joseph comes over, okay? And remember, Joseph thinks he's talking to Christine. Joseph comes over and he thinks that Christine wants to play a role to where she thinks she's getting taken advantage of. I have to say RAPE. It rhymes with date because we're on YouTube. So we can't say certain words or my channel gets flagged and it won't spread out. All right. Just like I can't say the M word. I have to say unalived, unfortunately. Until my channel gets big and all you guys subscribe and everything else, then I can start saying more of these words because I don't have to really worry about too much of us getting flagged because it'll still spread out. But until then, I have to spell it out, RAPE. All right. So he thought that she wanted to play a RAPE role, okay, where he's taking advantage of her. So he goes in there early in the house, early in the morning, goes in there, and he's in there with a knife. And what happens is, and I'm going to explain more in detail of what happened. Brendan busts in the room. And when Brendan busts in the room, remember, Brendan's the husband. Brendan busts in the room, sees him on top of her, right? So Brendan takes out a weapon and fires at him. And then he takes that same weapon that Joseph had, who is the person who was coming over for the fun activities. He takes that weapon, which is the knife, and then attacks his own wife, Christine. Okay? Supposedly there's wounds from the neck and down. Now, the au pair comes in, the nanny, whatever you want to call her, Juliana comes in. And when she comes in, she sees everything that's going on. And he tells her to, because Joseph, the one that came over for the fun activities, is still alive. So he tells her to take the weapon and finish him off, which she does. All right.
Show up, kill a guy, his wife, pretending that it had been that guy. That was the plan.
I was supposed to stay in the car with Valerie to put something on her iPad for her to watch. And as soon as I saw Juliana pulling up the driveway, I was supposed to give Christina a call, but her phone would be off, it would go to voicemail, and I was supposed to call him right away and tell him there was somebody strange coming to the house, and that's when I saw Jill pulling in the driveway, and I was still parked in the cul-de-sac, and I called Christine's phone and went to voicemail, and I called Brendan right after, as he had instructed me to do.
And did Brendan say why he wanted you to call Christine's phone and then call his phone?
Yeah, so then you'd have the history, the phone call history on her phone that I had tried to call her.
Juliana calls Christine Banfield. And remember what the allegation from prosecutors is, that Brendan took Christine's phone away from her. She's sleeping, turned it off, put it in a drawer in the kitchen. So these calls are not going to be answered. 7:37 a.m., Juliana calls Brendan Banfield, her lover, her boss, but also her lover. They speak for 19 seconds. There is surveillance video of Brendan Banfield at McDonald's, looks like he's getting out of the bathroom and then leaving McDonald's, on the phone at 7:37 and then walking towards his car. Remember, he had gone to the drive-thru to pick up the food, but then seemingly came back, circled around, parked, and then went inside. Not sure why. Maybe you go inside to get your food if you need to go in there, but he didn't. But he came back to the lot, and there you see him pulling away, 7:37. Okay, let's take a look at some more of those calls. 7:38 a.m. Brendan calls Christine. You saw him just get into his car, so now he's driving back to his home, which is, I don't know, 5 to 8 minutes away. He calls Christine at 7:38. Obviously, she doesn't pick up. He calls again at 7:38, and she's not picking up because the phone is off and it's in the drawer in the kitchen, according to prosecutors. Then, after those two calls, Brendan calls the au pair, Juliana. They speak for 47 seconds. He's driving. He continues to drive. He's getting closer to home. Then at 7:42, Brendan calls Christine. Again, no answer. Phone is off. 7:42, he calls Christine one more time. Now, at this point, it seems he gets home. The next call that we have is at 7:47 a.m. This is the call that Juliana, the au pair, described in that testimony, calling 911. After Christine told her to call 911, after Christine witnesses her husband shoot her rapist. So then she's like, Juliana, call 911. And Juliana calls 911. But that call only lasts 7 seconds. She never speaks, but you can hear the moaning of Joseph Ryan in the background, who had just been shot by Brendan. That's 7:47. 7:47 a.m., there's a return call to Juliana from 911, right? You call, you don't say anything, you hang up, 911 is going to call you back. They called her back. 7:48, Juliana calls 911, but it's canceled. 7:49, Juliana calls 911, but again, it's canceled. This is strange behavior. But now here's a big, now there's a gap in time. It's 13 minutes later at 8:02 when Juliana calls 911 for an 8-minute phone call. Like that's like the actual 911 call that gets people to respond. But it's 13 minutes after these two canceled calls, 14 minutes after the original call. Let's take a listen to a piece of that.
Interrogation 911, where's your emergency?
I need help. There is my friend. She just was attacked in the neck. Now she's bleeding a lot. I don't know what to do anymore.
My name is Brendan Banfield. I'm a federal agent. This is my house. There's somebody here. I shot him. But he stabbed her. She's bleeding. She's got several marks on her neck. What do I do?
So he passes away. The wife, Christine, goes to the hospital. She ends up passing away. So now the wife's out the picture.
Hey, Paul, or Jose, you got that. You got that. How many you watch out that?
There's a dog back there. So somebody's outside. Someone's outside in the back?
In the back?
There's a dog in the back.
Anyone else outside?
Huh?
Who else is outside?
Nobody's outside.
Anybody over here?
In my room. And here.
Here, man, stay here. Man.
Hey,
Stay over here.
who is the shooter?
Who shot who?
Brendan, he's an officer.
I got a blowout kit if you need it.
He was here, and then he was straight to voicemail. I called Brendan, it's her husband, he's up there. I called him, I see a strange car, but I don't know who is that. Can you please come here, I'm scared. I was just bothering the car. And then he came here, and then we went inside. The guy, I don't know who it is, he was spanking her, I was just here.
Were you here when it happened, or did you walk up in there and that's how they were?
Yeah, he went upstairs first, and then I went to see what is going on. I left the father in the basement, and then when I went upstairs, Brendan was saying, "Police, drop the knife."
So, Brendan's a police officer.
Yeah, he's an officer.
Is he with Fairfax?
No.
Where's he an officer?
I don't know. I think it's he was officer in Vienna.
Vienna?
Yeah.
Nobody gets arrested at that time because it looked like he was a hero, right? Like this person was in there doing something or whatever. So they are in the house, the up here, and the husband in the house, pretty much living a good life in the house together now in the same bedroom that this happened with the wife. Now, I'm sorry. That's sick. These are some sick individuals. These are some sick. Can you be in the same room, the exact same room, all this took place? Let's just say, for example, even if what their stories are saying were true, to where they walked in a room and they thought she was getting attacked, so they had to be the heroes and save the day. And let's say Joseph, the one that came over for the fun, was attacking her with the weapon. Both of these individuals still lost their life. Not just that, but in a gruesome way in that same room. And now you're in the same room with the person that helped you did it. I can't. I wouldn't even be in the same house. I gotta move. I gotta move. I don't know about you guys. Let me know. That's just sick, individual, and creepy if you think about it. Well, months pass. I think it's like 8 months, 9 months or something like that. Police come and they arrest the up here. They arrest Juliana, take her to jail. Now, I'm going to tell you why I think they arrested her first, okay? Now, while she is in jail, all right, then Brendan, he's still kicking it. He's still on the streets. I think it's like 500 days passed by, over 500 days since he took out his wife and the other person on the floor, or, supposedly took out his wife and Joseph. He finally gets arrested. Okay. Now the trial is going on. Now there's this trial, of course, right? The au pair, while she was arrested, they offer her a plea deal for slaughter. All right. So they offer her a plea deal. She takes it. And in return, she has to testify at trial against Brendan. And then once the trial's over, she's going to get time served and then deported back to Brazil. Sweet deal, if you ask me. I mean, that's a darn good deal. Darn good deal.
She finally did flip on him, Vinny, after she was behind bars for quite some time, and she got what many people call a sweetheart deal. After this trial is over, she will be deported back to Brazil. That's where she is from, for her cooperation in this case. We saw some text messages today from some of the law enforcement officers who were on the stand, in which they were expressing what appeared to be a little bit of a surprise over this, what I just referred to as a sweetheart deal. So you can see the text messages there. Some of the language has been bleeped out because there was some curse words in it. But people were expressing surprise over this plea deal, but she did end up flipping on him. One of the law enforcement officers on the stand today did say, when he was on direct examination, that he really didn't even think they needed Juliana Magalhães in this case, because the evidence, especially the blood evidence, did point to Brendan Banfield. But let's go ahead and listen to a bit of what he had to say.
So I'm going to quickly go over the timeline of events, because I know some people are just hearing about the case and some people don't know the timeline. So I'm gonna quickly go over the timeline so you can see, how it all played out. So August 2022, this is when the affair begins. Okay, so prosecutors said that Brendan began the relationship in August 2022 with Juliana, who was later became the family's au pair. Okay, Juliana started working for the Banfields in late 2022. So this is when, they pretty much, I guess, when he was talking to her, and she ended up getting hired in, late 2022. Now, in the fall of 2022, this is when they say the plot takes shape. According to court filings, Brandon expressed a desire to be rid of his wife, Christine, 37, and began planning her termination during the fall of 2022. So the affair began in August, and then a few months later, by fall, this is when he's planning to get rid of Christine, his wife. Prosecutors alleged that Banfield or Brendan made a fake account on a fetish website and used it to communicate with Joseph Ryan, who was 39, of Springfield. Now, January 2023, this is when a firearm was purchased. Court records show that Brendan brought a firearm on January 28th. Later gave it to Juliana. Prosecutors said that Brendan trained her at a local range in the months leading up to everything that happened. So he bought a firearm and then took Juliana on a firing range to train her on how to use it. Investigators said that Ryan believed he was meeting with Christine for consensual sex. Prosecutors alleged that account was controlled by Brendan and Juliana their entire time. And this is what prosecutors are saying. Prosecutors are saying that Brendan and Juliana controlled the account the entire time. Now, February 2023, according to prosecutors, Brendan told Juliana to speak with Ryan via Telegram just days before everything happened to confirm consent and meetup details. Now, Telegram is a messaging app. It's there's a lot of different messaging apps out there. Pretty much it's just the app you download on your phone. You use it. You need the internet to use it. And then you can message each other via Telegram. Authorities said Ryan was then lured to the Banfield home and the 13,200 block of Stablebrook Way in a Restone area on February 24th, 2024. Okay. Banfield allegedly turned off his wife's phone, left it in the kitchen drawer, and waited at a nearby McDonald's so he can return quickly. When Ryan entered the home, Juliana made calls to both Christine and Brendan's phones as directed. This is what prosecutors are saying. Banfield returned home, entered through the basement with Juliana and his 4-year-old daughter, and left the child downstairs before going upstairs to the bedroom. According to prosecutors, Brendan entered the bedroom, announced himself as a police officer, and then that's where he took his weapon, aimed it at his head, and pulled the trigger. His service-issued firearm. Ryan fell away from Christine, and Juliana made a brief 911 call and ended it at Brendan's direction. Prosecutors said Brendan then took the knife and attacked his wife, and this is where she got the wounds to her neck. Ryan showed signs of movement, so then Juliana went and took the weapon over him, and that's when she fired away. A second 911 call was made reporting Ryan as an intruder who attacked Christine. So then Brendan reportedly went to the hospital with his wife, while Juliana went to the police headquarters with the child. Christine later died from her injuries. Okay, so they got the guy to come over from FedLife, and when the guy came over, he was supposed to be doing the scene of REAPE. It was a RAPE scene that he was supposed to be doing with her, because that was what they communicated back and forth with him, saying that's what Christine likes. So when he came over, that's what he thought what was going to happen, this role play incident. Instead, when he came over, supposedly Christine didn't know what was going on. He's on top of Christine. And then Brendan comes in and acts like the hero to save the day. And then Juliana walks in too as another hero as well to save the day. All right. Now, October 23rd, investigation continues. The heir apparent has been arrested. All right. So the heir apparent was finally arrested. So they messed up on a date up here. I know I said February 24th, 2024. It's actually February 24th, 2023 is when it happened. And I'll double check that for you guys just to make sure. But it happened February 24th, 2023. So all this time goes by, okay? All this time goes by. Then October 2023, the case remained under investigation for more than a year. Court records state in an autopsy determined Ryan's cause of death was multiple wounds and ruled as a homicide. So multiple bullets. Authorities arrested, all right, Juliana in August 2023, nearly 8 months after everything happened. So she got arrested 8 months after. Prosecutors said during police interviews, Juliana admitted to blasting Ryan and later provided a detailed account collaborating physical and digital evidence gathered by the investigators. So Juliana was initially charged with second-degree unaliving. That was her initial charge, okay? She later entered a plea deal, pleading to guilty to manslaughter. Under the agreement, she'll receive time served if she testifies against Brendan. Now, I'm going to get into her defense, okay? This could play a major factor. This could be a chess, not checkers game. A lot of people don't know who hired her attorney. We're going to get into that, okay? So, September and October 2024, new evidence emerges. So this is when Brendan gets arrested, nearly a year after the appears arrest. So Juliana has been arrested or in jail for a year now. Then Brendan was taken into custody following a traffic stop in Fairfax County, okay? About 570 days after what happened. So he was almost free for about 2 years. At the time, officials said they uncovered new information they described as instrumental in securing an indictment against Brendan. Prosecutors ultimately submitted evidence to the court of Banfield's romantic relationship with Juliana. Evidence included images taken inside the home, where a photo of a framed picture of Brandon and Juliana on the master bedroom nightstand, dated October 13th. Other images reportedly showed Brandon and Juliana on multiple occasions. Brandon taking Portuguese lessons, which is so Juliana's from Portugal. If you didn't know, she's from Portugal, and they speak Portuguese. So Brandon started taking Portuguese lessons, and also a Brazilian passport that allegedly belonged to Juliana. This was all found in the room. Okay, the master bedroom at that. So on October 25th, 2024, Juliana gave authorities another detailed interview, further outlining Brennan's alleged role in planning and executing what happened. So this is when she starts to flip on him. Okay. They gave her another interview, and now she flips. She's sitting in jail for a certain amount of time. She decides to flip. I'm going to explain to you guys the psychological warfare they do to you while you're sitting in jail and the reason why they do it, okay? 7 News confirmed that Brennan was working as a criminal investigation division agent for Internal Revenue Service. So he was an IRS agent. Brennan faces multiple charges, including aggravated use of a firearm and felony, child abuse, neglect, and because his young daughter was in a home at the time. So he's denying everything, right? And right now, this is where the trial is at.
You arrived at the determination that you were right because Juliana Perez Magalhães told the story.
Yeah, I think she filled in the blanks, but by and large, what she said was consistent with what I believe the evidence showed pretty much within my first 30 days of being involved in the case.
Okay, so were you aware that it was 2 weeks before trial when this proffer occurred?
Yes.
Okay. And was it your position that you needed her to testify against Brendan in this case?
I thought it would be helpful, but I don't think it was necessary based on the evidence.
All right. So earlier I said that the husband could be playing chess this entire time. And the prosecution maybe know it. Possibly. I hope they do. Well, when Juliana first got arrested, okay? Remember, she was arrested about 8 months before Brendan was arrested. Juliana did not get just a public defender. She actually got an attorney, a real attorney. She got a private attorney, okay? Now, next question would be, how did Juliana afford to get the private attorney? Was, Brendan paying her a lot of money? Well, the private attorney was actually hired by Brendan's mother. So Brendan's mother, Brendan, the husband, his mom hired Juliana's attorney.
It can backfire. There is no doubt about that. There's a certain amount of risk because the jury is going to be like, wait a minute, how is she, if they consider her a co-conspirator, 50-50 on par with him in the planning of this, how is she getting away with this involuntary manslaughter thing? I mean, the bottom line is that here's what stands out. Her attorney was hired by his mother, Banfield's mother. And that, sorry, but I wouldn't trust an attorney that the guy who was charged with murder has paid for, because how good a defense is this guy going to give you if you're going to testify against him? Does this make sense? If she's going to testify against her boyfriend Banfield, should we trust her lawyer paid for by his mother to defend her well?
Now, you would think that could be a conflict of interest in a way, especially now that Juliana is testifying against Brendan. Well, he hired the attorney, or she hired the attorney, I should say. And we all know probably where the money came from. I mean, it shouldn't be a rocket scientist or brain surgeon to figure that out, right? Whose idea was this? Now, since that attorney was hired by Brennan's family, I wonder, was the attorney given any information to Brennan's mom as things were going along? So, for you people that's ever been to jail, or ever had a loved one in jail, or ever had to fight a case, and you had to hire an attorney for someone, okay? Were you ever talking to an attorney to find out updates on the case or situation? Okay. And some attorneys, especially if you're the parents, would give you updates. Well, this is what's going to happen. This is what we're trying to get. We're trying to get this plea deal. I'm trying to get the prosecution to agree to this and everything else. So since he hired the attorney, I'm wondering if he had a little insight to what was going on because they hired her attorney. So the person who hires you, which was Brendan's mom, is Brendan's mom contacting the attorney asking for information. Oh, I want to find out how Juliana's doing. Is there any plea deals coming up? Are you guys fighting for a plea? Or do you think I should take this to trial? Think about that for a minute. I wonder. Now, she ended up accepting a plea deal, right? To testify against him. And I told you guys earlier, I'm going to explain why she was arrested way before him. So you got to remember, they made up this not made up website, I'm sorry, but they made up a profile on the website, FetLife, right? And pretty much catfished Joseph to come over because they made up the profile using Christine's pictures and images and things like that. So pretty much Joseph allegedly got catfished to come over, thinking he's going to come over and role play with Christine.
I asked him, we're going to divorce her. He explained that he was thinking about finding a way to just get rid of her.
In her videotaped statement to prosecutors, part of her plea deal and obtained by NBC News, Juliana Perez Magles claims both she and Banfield logged onto a fetish website, posing as his wife Christine, and lured 39-year-old Joseph Ryan to their home for a rape fantasy. Perez Magles claims Ryan entered the Banfield's bedroom while Christine was asleep.
We told other people before that it was kind of part of the game. She would just get kind of freaked out and try to resist.
Prosecutors allege on the morning of February 24th, 2023, in order to make it appear as though it was an act of self-defense, both Perez Magles and Brendan Banfield entered the room.
She was just telling him, let me go, I'm gonna die anyways. I'm gonna bleed to death.
Months later, prosecutors say during a search of the house, investigators found a picture of Banfield and Perez Magles on a bedroom nightstand. They also found her clothes in the victim's closet, confirming their suspicions the two had been having an affair.
So during their initial interviews, when everything first happened, right? Police are going to interrogate you. They're going to have Juliana in one room. They're going to have Brendan in another room. All right. They don't interrogate them together. They have interrogation here, interrogation there. So they're going to interrogate her, and they're going to see if her stories match his stories. So while they're questioning her, she's probably like, yeah, I popped in a room and this happened. I don't know what was going on, such and such and such, whatever, right? Now, you also have to remember, this took place early in the morning. Joseph, when he came over, he had a vehicle. So his vehicle was left in the driveway because he went into the house. Juliana was not in the house supposedly at the time. She was out in the morning, pulled up, saw the car, and was like, oh, there's a car in the driveway, and then started calling Brendan like, oh, there's this weird car in the driveway, and supposedly never went in the house, right? So police know this car is there, and they see the plate, they're reading the plate, and obviously they know what's going to come back to the other victim. So they're probably wondering why this person's over, so I'm pretty sure they're questioning Juliana. Hey, you know this second guy, Joseph, that was there? What's going on with him? Now, we don't know what she said in the first interview. We don't know. But you have to remember, she was charged with second-degree unaliving. You got to remember, that's what she was charged with when she got arrested. So why would they charge her with this? Why? Right? Why? So this is during the first interview before she gets arrested. So they're probably asking her all these questions. And she's probably like, yeah, I went and got it. And I used a weapon on him. And then they're asking Brendan questions in the other room. And I'm pretty sure these questions are going a lot of them are going to be the same. There's a car outside with a plate on the front or a plate on the back by Joseph. Do you know who he is? No, I don't. I don't. But we don't know exactly what Brendan was saying. We don't know the full context. He could have been saying something like, well, my wife was on her phone all the time. He could be saying something to misguide the police or lead them, I should say, to check her phone, right? Her phone's on time. Maybe she was having an affair or whatever. Because they're going to ask for her phone and then they give her phone and anything that her laptops, all that type of stuff. So then they check her phone, her laptops, and they see that a FetLife, profile was made. They see this profile was made.
Police officers testifying. There was a difference of opinion on whether or not Christine was the one putting herself on the fetish website or somebody else was catfishing on the website. How much of a problem is this? Does this raise reasonable doubt for you? Does it raise a reasonable doubt for a juror? Carmen started off.
I don't know, Vinny. This case is tough. I think the defense does have the state on the ropes. The fact that they're coming back with a rebuttal case suggests that they think that's true as well. So is it enough? I feel like I need a really strong closing argument to tie all of this reasonable doubt that's been put out there in perspective, coupled with what I think is very little, if any, credibility from the au pair, given all that we've heard from her.
Wait, she looks credible right there with the emoji in the bathtub.
Yeah. Listen, I love this sweetheart deal characterization. Come on. This is a time served. You can go home, nothing to see here. And in your intro, it's like, if you believe she was part of this horrible plot, we're letting her go. There's something wrong with all of it.
What, if anything, did you find in the kitchen?
There was a laptop on the kitchen island.
So here in Commonwealth's 86, are you able to see the laptop?
Yes, it's on the right-hand corner.
Is it the black object here in the corner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did you find what was later identified as Christine Banfield's cell phone?
Yes.
Looking at Commonwealth's 87, is this the bar cart you previously described?
It is. This is the back side of the bar cart.
Okay, and where did you find the phone?
The phone is going to be in the middle top drawer of this bar cart.
All right, so looking at Commonwealth's 88, is that the drawer you're talking about extended?
Yes.
Okay, and what do we see there in the middle of the drawer?
It's going to be the cell phone in question.
They're probably like, this profile was made with Christine. Maybe this whole place was doing some kinky stuff. Maybe it was the babysitter. Maybe it was the husband. And maybe it was Christine all doing this foreplay stuff, and they invited a fourth over. All these theories got to be going in their head, because when I first heard all this, that's what I was thinking too at first. Like, maybe they were all just some freaks, and a big Diddy party was going on, freak off, and they invited him over. That's what I was thinking when I first heard of this. And even if it went down that way, I still wouldn't be shocked, to be honest with you. But they hired, or I should say, the officers are thinking, or investigators are thinking like, So they arrest her. 8 months later, they watched them. Believe me, they got watched. They had tails on them. I've talked about this in a couple other of my videos. You'll be watched and you don't even know you're being watched. It's not like the white vans parked in front of your house like the movies, and no, it's not like that whatsoever. It'll be a regular car down the street, some Hyundai or Kia Kona or something, with some tinted windows, and you won't even realize they're parked down the street. And then around the corner, it's another car's parked down the street, a regular car. You don't even realize it, okay? And they're telling you, following wherever you go. I'm pretty sure they were watched the entire time. And then they decided to arrest her. Now, why did they arrest her? We don't know the full details of why, but I can tell you from my guesstimate, let's put it this way. It's like a drug dealer, okay? let's say you're a big time drug dealer. All right. And I'm not talking about nickel and diamond. I'm talking about pounds, kilo, whatever it is. And big time drug dealers, what do? They chop their stuff up and they give it to individuals to go out on the street and sell and get rid of the product. Every once in a while, those individuals down the street getting rid of the product is going to get caught. And then what the police will try and do is try and flip them, because they'll say like, oh, we know you're out in the corner nickel and diamond, but where did the nickel and dimes come from? Every once in a while, they will get flipped and they will tell. Okay. But you got two situations that go on here. It all depends. If the police don't have a lot of evidence, they take down the big fish, the kingpin. Okay. They're going to take that individual who agrees to flip on them, sometimes send him back out. Send him right back out on the street. And then they're going to watch that individual. And then that individual is going to try and get enough evidence to bring down the kingpin. Okay. And that's when the kingpin gets arrested. They got all this evidence on them. FBI is good with this. FBI would do this every time. FBI will watch you for years and years and get all the evidence they can. So when it's time to go to trial, you're not beating it. Big U, who was the big Crip that's out of California, he got arrested middle of last year, I believe it was. FBI was watching him since 2011. So imagine all the evidence they have on him since 2011. You got to fight all that in court. That's the reason why the FBI has, I think it's like an 80 or 85% conviction rate. A lot of people just plea because they see all this evidence against them, so they're just pleading. But I say that because even though Brennan is not a kingpin selling drugs, but you could think of Juliana as the person on the street, the smaller fish. Now, she might be the big fish. We don't know. But you got to remember, she's not from here. She's from Brazil. She got a family back in Brazil. She was hired to be here. So she's most likely will be the one to flip. So, of course, they arrest her. And they don't just arrest her. They put the biggest charge they can on her. 2nd degree unaliving, 2nd degree M. You could face the rest of your life in jail off of, even if it's 2nd degree, okay? Or at least most of your life.
And the whole reason she was arrested was to flip her against my client. You'll hear that evidence from someone other than her and other than me. And they tried, and they tried. In a correspondence that she wrote to my client on January 1st, that was given to him, she says, they want you. All they want is to get you in this case. They want me to say things that aren't true. They want me to say things that I did that aren't true. My client gets arrested. In her mind, she loses even more hope because he was the person who was on the outside who she really was depending on. They had an affair. You're not going to get any disputes from us. But he played a role, a supportive role to her while she was in jail, while they tried to do their little experiment on what would she take in order to come forward and tell a story.
So they let her sit in jail. Now, they probably interviewed her when they first arrested her. I'm pretty sure they interviewed her again, right? Interview her. And maybe she don't say nothing. Maybe she does. And then while she's in jail, Brennan gets a lawyer for her. They let her sit in jail a while because that's what they do. They'll let you sit. Y'all watched 48, first 48, right? You know how they bring you in an interrogation room and you sit? The thing is, we're watching a TV show. It's an hour long. Do you know how really long they be sitting in those interrogation rooms sometimes? Sometimes in there for a few hours before you even get spoke to. They'll bring you in that interrogation room, sit you at that table, and leave you there on purpose while the investigators go eat lunch, do whatever they're doing, and looking at you through the camera. Because they leave you in there so you can think about everything that's happened. So you can think about it. Oh, what should I say? Maybe I should tell the truth. I'm in trouble. Wondering minds. So they leave you in there. Okay? Same thing with jail. They'll arrest you, put you in jail, let you sit, and let you think about it. Now, while you're sitting in there and you're thinking about it, okay, then they're going to come up to you again and they're going to pressure you again. They're going to interrogate you again. All right. And this is the time when they probably think they can get you to flip, like she's doing right now. They offer you a sweet deal. We know, honey. We know, Juliana. We know you weren't the one who did this. We know that it was Brendan all along. We know, honey. We know you are a victim in a situation too. So we need you to do us a favor. You need to be a victim. Be the victim because you are the victim. You are the victim. And he co-horsed all of this. He led everything. So you, honey, do not need to go down for his mistakes and everything he did. We're talking about the rest of your life. You don't want to pay the rest of your life for what he did, do you? You don't want to do that. Then they'll start shaking their head like this. Do you? You don't want to do that. Old salesman tactics. Shake your head. Do you? Because they're shaking their head no. And it's psychologically making you think no. Just like, this is a great price right here to buy this, right? Right? And they shake their head and you're like, oh, this is a great price. Psychologically messing your head, not even thinking about it. But this is what has happened. I guarantee you this is what happened. Now, you see what it says below. Do you think she should be facing the same charges? Do you think she should be facing the same charges as Brendan? Do you think she is equally responsible for what happened that day? And not just that day, but leading up to the events, okay? Do you think she could have easily like, I'm out, I'm just gonna go home. I'm done with this. You always have a choice in life. Far as we know, Brendan didn't have a weapon to her head to say do this. Far as we know. She never testified that in the court, because if he did do that, I'm pretty sure she would say that, right? You always have a choice. It wasn't like she was 15 years old. Now, yes, you are dumb, make mistakes in your early 20s and, things like that, all right? But she's a grown woman. She wasn't no kid. So she's a grown woman. She had a choice. So because she made this horrible choice, do you think she should be facing the same exact charges as Brendan? And do you think, because like I said right now, they're dissecting of who was really talking to Joseph this whole time and things like that, right? So do you think they both played equal parts in this? Or do you really think it was one more than the other? Curious to hear what you guys think about the situation. All right. Now, the trial's not over. I'm still going to be following this trial pretty much every day. Okay, so for everybody that's interested in it, I believe tomorrow they're going to be going live on the trial. I actually might be going live tomorrow. I'm going to let you guys know. If I'm going live now, I'm gonna post a comment. So I might be going live tomorrow, especially for all you people that's gonna be snowed in and stuck. All right. So I am gonna go live. I just don't know what time, but I'll let you guys know. Now I do have a membership that's people have subscribed for, signed up for it. It is very affordable. Thank you for everybody who signed up for the membership. I'm gonna be doing videos of behind the scenes and also some videos that need to be unfiltered. Um, because when you do these videos, especially on smaller channels like mine, I have to watch what I say and watch a lot of things. Well, with the membership access, I'm able to do certain videos that are unfiltered and things like that. And then also early release, early access to certain videos as well. You're also going to start getting discount codes for Fugitive TV merch, like the hat you see here. I got a sweatshirt coming in. I'm gonna be wearing a sweatshirt soon so you guys can see it. I saw the black one. The black one is very good quality. Okay. And I got some more stuff that we're putting in the works for that too. All right. Well, let me know what you guys think about this situation. Okay. I just made this video for you guys to be aware of what's going on in the pair trial. All right. Because I know some of you guys probably have been following this and some of you guys probably haven't been. Well, hopefully I explained a lot of details for you. So now you're probably curious as to how this trial is going to turn out. So now we all together can figure out how this is all going to turn out. All right. So for all you new people that just tuned into my channel today, thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment the city and state you're from. I try and reply back to everybody. I don't get to everybody, but I try my best. All right. And for everybody who's been rocking me from day one, if you're returning from the other videos and whatever, thank you so much. You've helped my channel blow up. I have blown up since last summer. Crazy. All right. Thank you so much. This is Fugitive TV. Please take care of one another. I'm out.